So welcome back to my small Fallout Factions interlude series. In the last video I painted the Bottle and Cabby pre-order bonus figure. In this one I'm going to go into the unboxing and some painting hopefully at the end of it. So let's have a look at what's in the Fallout Factions Battle for Nuka World starter set. So opening up here we've got a nice 72 page rulebook, lots of information in there. Have a little flick through. You've got some roster sheets, lots of rules for everything, the weapons, the characters and factions you'll be playing as. These are the main three raider factions that you can play as. There's some scenarios and just all the other rules on how to get started. Next up, we've got a double-sided poster. It's got a really nice Nuka World poster on one side, and on the other side you've got a 3x2 battle mat to get you started. There's also a couple of crew rosters. They're double-sided, so you can do your crew on one side and you've got your special breakdown on the other side. These are all the tokens, loads of them for various different things to do with the game. Next up you've got some press out card buildings and some little barriers and things, and just some scenery. So it adds a bit of verticality to the game, so you're not just horizontal in the battle match, you can actually put them on top of the buildings, run about the buildings, use them for cover. So really easy to press all of these out and pop together. You can just use your finger to press out most of them. Some of them maybe use a blade or the end of a pen or something if you find it more difficult. But again, watch your fingers if you're using a blade. And again, they just press together, all of them, so really easy to put together, gives you a little bit of quick and easy scenery there. So you can set that up as either a ramp or you can use it as a big barrier at the back of the board. There's also a couple of little square buildings, again, just snap together. And they're double-sided, so you've got a few different versions, a few different variations of design. So that's a little Nuka-Cola stand. And it's got a couple of bits snap on the top as well, just to give you a little bit of cover. Onto the figures, there are two sets here. There's a set of operators and there's a set of pack figures. I'm going to hopefully get around to painting the operators at the end of this video. Then I feel the easier of the two factions because the pack are very, very colourful. Really nice sculpts. Then we've got a couple of bags of dice. The red ones have got a Cappy design on them, the other ones have got a bottle design for the 0 or 10, whichever you look at it. Some bases, and then a ruler for measuring. So instead of the cardboard rulers that came with the last one, you've just got a standard rule, Fallout Factions there, so you can just measure out distances and things. Quite a nice little tape measure. So that's everything that comes in the box set. So is it worth picking up the Battle for Nuka World starter set? If you break down the costs alone, the two figure sets and the dice set come to £1 more expensive than the actual base set, plus you're getting the rulebook, the roster sheets, the battle mat, all the press out cardboard figures and the tokens in here, so I would say yes, yes it is. One downside is the fact that there's no instructions for how to put together any of the figures. You actually have to go to a site and download PDFs for that. So there's assembly instructions for everything, the last few waves that have come out. There's also a quick start guide there you can download if you haven't got the main set. There's a terrain guide for building all the terrain that comes with the starter set. There's some additional faction lists on here if you want to play as Brotherhood of Steel or Super Mutants. Additional crew roster sheets which you can download. And then a final tab where the different game modes, so that's for competitive scenarios there. So one little downside of it. So let's put together some figures. So like I said, I'm going to start with the operators. They're the easiest, I feel, of the two factions because they're the less colourful, to be honest. There's lots of greys and blues. So 10 figures, they're going to be made up of a variety of these. I've decided on sticking with, you've got an overboss, which is the leader, 2 made men, which are champions, 2 scavers, 2 psychos, and 3 wasters. So that's your general grunts that make up the rest of the team. So this is the boss figure. So as you can see, you've got a few different varieties of weapons. Got to start cutting the figure off the sprue. I felt with a lot of the figures, the 6 points of contact got a bit annoying. It took me quite a while to actually put the figures together. It did get a bit quicker towards the end when I was actually looking at the sheet first and deciding which weapon, but initially it took me quite a while. So a couple of little bits. There is some additional accessories which I haven't actually put on any of these guys to start with. Just a simple case of gluing the arms on. The heads I found as well, because they weren't like a ball and socket joint, it was quite easy for the head to fall over. So you had to make sure you had it positioned perfectly. Because it didn't fit in, it just kind of sat there. So up next are 2 champions, the made men. Again, a couple of weapon options. I went for the rocket launcher on one and the syringer for the other. So that's our little command group. Up next, the 2 psychos. I went for a couple of 10mm and a hand weapon. The 2 scavers, both with the combat rifles. And then finally 3 wasters. The third one I actually used a different weapon option just for it was the figure I had left. So this is my squad of 10 operators. Now let's have a look how I painted up these guys. So first of all, I'm temporarily sticking them onto the bases. I want to do some work on the bases when I'm finished, but I want to paint the figures first. So easiest way I found to do this, bit of double-sided tape, small bit of super glue on the feet, stick them on top of the double-sided tape, that way it sticks to the tape, not the base. They're quite easy to peel off when you're finished. And you just have to repeat that a further 9 times. Up next, started with the base coat of brown, then I did a heavy dry brushing over that of white, just to bring out some highlights. I'm going to be mostly using speed paints for this, just so I can get them done quickly. So that's all the base colours on. Like I say, quite simple. So after the base colours, I did the dark brown wash over the entire models. And then began to pick up some of the highlighted colours, so I did the skin tones, some blues and some greys over the clothing, and a little bit of highlighting of browns for all the leather work on them. So that's my basic figures together. In the next video I'm going to go into doing the bases, doing some of the highlights and doing some of the detail work on them. I may also add on some accessories onto that. And also in the next video I will be doing the pack figures. So join me again then, and thanks for watching.
New from Modiphius. Ever wanted to play as a suave operator? Or are you more of a pack animal? Then join us in Nuka World for Fallout Factions, the new tabletop skirmish game from Modiphius. Looks like you've had a bit of a spill. And who doesn't love some Nuka-Cola? So many dice. You can find all this and much, much more in the Fallout Faction starter set. So why not drop in by Nuka World? We're just dying to see you. Out now! See, I read it. Can I go now? I really need a drink.